Hi YouTube. Today is day number 8 and it's better late than never, right? Better late than never. So breathe in, breathe out. Little steps in the right direction are better than no steps at all right? Progress over perfection. Just progress. One step. That's all it takes. One little piece. One little piece. Not a whole, you don't have to do the whole thing all at once. One little tiny piece at a time. One step at a time. One day at a time. Sometimes 1 minute at a time. 1 moment at a time. 1 breath at a time. Okay, it's not about perfection because we are perfectly imperfect. It is about progress. Just progress. Progress over perfection. Better late than never. Better late than never. Like, being late was one of the huge things in my life. Like, not showing up on time, and then I would feel guilty, and then I wouldn't show up at all. And then you end up feeling guilty about that, and then you start yourself into this shame loop, okay? So showing up late is better than not showing up at all, especially when it comes for yourself, when it comes to yourself. Showing up for yourself, okay? Progress, little steps. Celebrate every single one of those little victories, those little steps, just the little ones. Because all of those little pieces all add up into major accomplishments, okay? Like going through the clutter in your room. Like maybe you can't do the whole room all in one day, but you could start with a drawer. You could start with, the laundry, or you can start in like one little section of it. You don't have to get it all done now. All right? It's not all about now. Just progress over perfection. And when was the last time that you looked yourself in the mirror and told yourself you loved yourself? Like, seriously. I dare you to go to the mirror first thing in the morning, all groggy and butt mouth, and tell yourself, look at yourself in the eyeballs and tell yourself, I love you. You are doing the very best that you can. You are absolutely extraordinary. I'm so proud of you for all that you've accomplished and everything that you have survived. You are amazing. You are powerful. You are worthy. And then give yourself a hug. Have you ever truly hugged yourself like you would someone else? Like, seriously, like, hug yourself. Give yourself that hug that you would give to someone else that you love. I bet you find out you give really, really amazing hugs. Progress. Just a little bit of progress. Even if it doesn't seem like much. Like, oh, you cleaned out the junk drawer. You cleaned out a drawer today. You folded the clothes. You put away the laundry. Just one. One step. Like, one step. That's all it takes. Progress over perfection. I know a lot of us are perfectionists. Like, when I was a tattoo artist, that's part of the reason why I quit tattooing, is because it gave me so much anxiety. Like, it had to be perfect. Like, this was going to be on somebody forever, and my standards of perfect, like, people always told me, like, I was a wonderful tattoo artist. Like, you're a great tattoo artist. Like, I was pretty darn good, but I wasn't perfect. And the idea of me putting some flawed piece on somebody, like, it gave me so much anxiety. But then I kept choosing all of these professions of perfectionism. Like, I have a degree in machining. Like, a degree in machining, like, they have a tolerance or plus or minus 100,000ths of an inch. That's like the size of a hair. You cannot be off more than the size of a hair. One single hair is 100,000ths of an inch. Can you even see that? Sometimes those tolerances are like that. We choose these professions of perfectionism. And we ourselves are flawed, but we're perfect. We're these perfectly imperfect beings that are amazing and wonderful. So progress over perfection. And it is definitely better to show up late than to not show up at all. Okay? Like, yeah, it might feel a little bad. Like, it's kind of late, doing my day number 8 really, really late. Like, is day number 8 even still here? I'm here. Day number 8. It's better to show up late than to not show up at all. So, give yourself a little bit of credit. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. Like, do you remember being a child? Do you remember, like, how just amazing being a child was? Like, babies don't look at themselves in the mirror and judge themselves. They love, like, they're so, like, expressionate and, like, they laugh so much and, like, they're so just organic and beautiful. And then somewhere along the lines, we start getting this self-image thing. We're not tall enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not big enough. We're not skinny enough, right? Those are all outside. You are beautiful. You are whole. You're not lacking. You might feel like you're lacking, especially if you're out there looking for a significant other or whatever. Like the illusion of separation is so deep embedded into our core. But it was embedded there. It was put there. It was placed there. We weren't born that way. We weren't born with hate for ourselves or for other people. We weren't born with judgment, like judging people on their race, their color, their religion, their class, their eye color, their booty size, like we weren't born with none of that. All of that was programmed into us. That's all external programming. None of that is natural. That's not your natural state of being. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely not perfect. Definitely not. I got a lot going on up here. I'm only human too. We're all only human. But it's day number 8. And I'd rather show up late than not show up at all. Right? Right. So, with that being said, I don't know, my friend Jill wanted me to talk about some stories from the orphanage days. So the orphanage was, like, we lived in Lahana. Like, we had just moved to Lahana. We moved next door to the only people that we really needed to know in the whole town. And that house was nicknamed the orphanage. There were always people there, always, 24/7 people, right? And, like, they were all really super friendly, happy people. Like, we might have been doing some bad things, but for the most part, we were just playing hacky sack at 3 o'clock in the morning, singing Sublime at the top of our lungs, She asked me about what was one of my favorite memories of being at the orphanage, or, one of the favorite stories from being at the orphanage. And I'll never forget the time, I think it was the day before we went to the rainbow gathering, the first rainbow gathering I ever went to. But I had just come back on a Greyhound bus, and everyone there, like I call them kids, like they weren't children. It's not like they were children, but I call everybody a kid. Like, what's up, kid? You know, like all the kids there had thrown me this party, this welcome home party, and they had sparklers and they did little dances, and like it was like the most warm welcome home that I'd ever had. And there was all kinds of people, and of course we were getting schwilly, you know, and I'll never forget it. The cops show up, right? And apparently one of my friends had a warrant, and they were like, "Oh, we're looking for Daniel. We're looking for Daniel." He's like, Dano was like, "My name's not Daniel, my name's Dano," you know, and it like just kept on going with the sparklers. The party just kept on going. I think we went to the rainbow gathering the very next day, but that house was, I mean, we were a bunch of adolescent teenagers doing a lot of adolescent things. You know, we had a ashtray taped to the gas line in the basement. Probably the grossest tasting drugs I've ever done in my life. I know that, you know, some people don't want to know about that, but yeah, it was very, I remember one time my friend Jill, like, I'm so proud of her. She's in sobriety too. Both her and her husband are multiple years into sobriety. So these are like stories, you know, from growing up. And there was one time that Jill was freaking out. She was saying we're making too much noise. She's like, "You guys are making too much noise. Like, there's too much going on." Like, "Oh my God," you know. And she like made everybody leave. And like we're like walking down the street at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and like you could hear the vacuum cleaner come on, all like super loud throughout like the whole neighborhood, because it was like a really tiny, quiet town. Like you could literally smell the cows. You know, like there's like one gas station, you know, maybe 2 gas stations. There was a Walmart there, but it's an itty bitty teeny tiny town. So it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and she was like telling us how we were making so much noise. And we took off down the street, and we could hear the vacuum cleaner come on, bam, all super loud, 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Like, I'll never forget those days, you know, playing hacky sack, singing in the middle of the street. Like, the police didn't know what to do with us, you know. It was fun. But that's where my mom actually met her wife. My mom's wife was one of the occupants of the orphanage in La Junta. So and most of these people are still my friends to this day. Like, it's crazy to me how many people I know that I've known for most of my life, like more than half of my life. Like I've known people for 30 years, man. And it's such a blessing and an honor to like watch them grow, watch them succeed, like watch their family grow, you know, see what they've done with their life. Like, I know a lot of people don't have that. So I absolutely am honored to have as many people in my life that I've known for like 30 years, you know, like my best friend, Michael. I love Michael so much. I love Michael and his family so much. He's my moderator. He's usually on my channel, you know. We've known each other since we were like 12 years old. So it's an honor to have those type of people in your life, to watch them grow. You know, they've seen every different layer of, you know, of me, watched me do my thing, watched me completely F everything up and build it all back together, you know. It's pretty amazing to watch people grow. It's like watching children. You know, you watch children grow. And like 1 minute they're itty bitty, and then the next minute they're like a whole on adult, you know. It's pretty cool. But yeah, Jill wanted me to share a story from the orphanage, so thank you, Jill, for being here. I love you so very much, and I'm so very proud of you. Your future is not defined by your past, okay? Like any of the things that you've done in the past, your future is not defined by it. Don't let your past mistakes hold you back from being the most amazing version of yourself that you can be. I mean, all of those things have taught you a lesson. I know all of the things that I've done have taught me lessons. Like, I wouldn't be nowhere near as wise as I am now if I hadn't done all the stupid, ridiculous amounts of stuff that I did when I was younger. Right? But you can't let it hold you down. You can't let people use it against you. All right? When you learn how to own everything that you've ever done, then no one can hold it against you. You know? Nobody can use that as a weapon against you. They'll either accept you for who you are, or they ain't your people, right? And that's okay. It's all right. So when you own everything, like, I own everything that I've ever done. They're like, man, yeah, some embarrassing stuff. But nobody can use it against me. Can't weaponize my past against me because I already did that to myself a million times over while I was hiding, while I hid what I was doing or hid who I was or what I've done, you know? Oh, don't tell them about that. You know, they might not like me. You know, don't tell them about my past of this because they're going to judge me. When you own it, just like Eminem, right? When Eminem came up on stage, and I know I use this reference a lot, but it's so valid, you know? When Eminem came up on stage, he knew that they were going to talk about the fact that he was in a trailer. They knew that they were going to talk about his mama. They knew that they were going to talk about whatever he had going on. And instead of letting them weaponize it against him, he owned it in that moment and took the power away from everyone that could ever try to weaponize it against him. It's like, yeah, I sure did do that. I did. Or if it wasn't true, you're like getting the popcorn, like, oh yeah, what do I do next? Let me hear this, you know? But when you take your own skeletons out of your closet and hold them up, like, yep, this is my skeleton. It's right here. Nobody can take that skeleton out of the closet for you to use it against you. Then you ain't got nothing to worry about people finding out. Oh, people found out that you did this, you know? How are they going to act? Like, no, just be upfront about it. Like, this is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is the stupid stuff that I've done. And then nobody can weaponize it. Nobody can use it against you. Because there are people out there that will. They will look for whatever dirt they can find on you, so they can throw it in your face, so they can weaponize it. When you own it, it takes all the power away. And you never have to worry about, what if somebody finds out this about me? Well, what if they find out that about me? They'll either love you for who you are, or they're not your people. Ain't worth your time anyways. So, day number 8. It's better to show up late than not show up at all. I love you guys. Deuces!